What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be doing the Bengals 2026-2027 season predictions for every game of the regular season by Joesty, aka me. I'm a pretty big Bengals fan, I'd say. I've been following them for 5 years now, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited to do this video. And in the bottom, we have the home, away, and international. So every slide that is that the background is orange is a home game. Every slide that the background is white will be an away game, and then week 9 against the Falcons is an international game, so that'll be in black. Starting off with week 1, Bengals versus Buccaneers, open in orange. Um, I'm really excited. The Bengals are starting off in a nice home game against the Buccaneers. Um, the Buccaneers, you know, they're okay. I say they're not great. Baker Mayfield in the beginning of the season was looking really strong, looking like making a great comeback. But towards the middle and end of the season, he kind of started to show what Baker Mayfield used to look like. He started off really good, but now he wasn't playing too well. And they have a good receiver core, but obviously they lost Mike Evans and not too many notable players on their team. I just think they're a very mid team. I think like them going 8-9 is probably where they should be. I don't see them going any higher or lower. So I think the Bengals are going to start off with a win to start off week 1, bringing them 1-0. And by the way, even though I'm a Bengals fan, I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as I can, so that I can make a fair score to see how good I really think they'll do. Week 2, Bengals versus Texans, tough away game against an incredibly strong defense. Yeah, this is gonna be one of the tougher games, I'd say. C.J. Stroud, not great. He hasn't been doing great. Throwing a lot of interceptions. He can make plays, but he's very very lopsided. Like he'll either do really well or really bad. And I just think he's not a very consistent quarterback. But I'd say that the Houston Texans have an incredible defense. I got to give them that. Um, it's definitely gonna be a great game. Unbiased opinion. The Bengals have an incredible offense and an amazing receiving core, and I think this will really be a good matchup. An amazing defense versus amazing offense, and this is a tough game. I think the Bengals are gonna pull out a really tight win against the Texans. I think they're gonna squeak out a win just barely, bringing them 2-0. Next game we have an away game against the Steelers. Huge rivalry. In my opinion, out of everyone in the AFC North, my least favorite team is probably the Steelers, even though I really don't like all of the AFC North teams besides the Bengals. Yeah, this is tough. Away game against the Steelers, although the Steelers aren't like amazing, I think, just being away and, just the atmosphere, Aaron Rodgers, not amazing, but he's definitely not terrible. I'd say he's like an okay quarterback. And, they have Michael Pittman Jr. now. That might be a good duo. And they have TJ Watt, of course. Crazy talented player. They got some players. I think the Bengals are going to lose this game. It's a tough away game. Steelers have some players. They can perform well. But, yeah, I think they're going to lose this game, putting them at 2-1. Week 4, home game against the Jaguars. This kind of reminds me of the last season when the Bengals played the Jaguars. They barely won, and, that was the game Joe Burrow was injured, which is very heartbreaking for a Bengals fan like me. But, Jaguars, very, very surprising performance. They made it to the playoffs. They got first rounded by the Bills. But, I mean, it's the Bills, and also the Jaguars barely have any playoff experience. So, I can't blame them for getting first rounded. But, Jaguars really impressive last year. Definitely a team that you should be afraid of. But I think Trevor Lawrence looked good. Um, Travis Hunter, I don't know if he's gonna be starting because of his injury, but he's definitely a good player. Um, you know, the Jaguars definitely a good team. I don't think they're gonna have much success this year though. I think this is tough. Hmm. This is a really tough game to decide. Hmm. I don't think the Jaguars are gonna do great this season, but I think they're gonna perform really well against the Bengals in Week 4, and I think they're gonna want revenge from what happened last season. So I think the Jaguars are gonna pull out a W here, and that puts the Bengals at 2-2. Next week we have Bengals versus Dolphins away game. Last time we played the Dolphins, we absolutely destroyed them. Great game by the Bengals, but losing to Tagovailoa wasn't a good player in the first place, but still losing a quarterback that used to play. Losing Jalen Waddle for a few first round picks. Pretty interesting trade in my opinion to the Broncos, but you know, Dolphins losing a lot of players, and I just don't see the Dolphins being that good of a team. So I think the Bengals, even though they're away, I think the Bengals are going to pull out a nice W against the Dolphins, putting them at 3-2. Week 6, we have a pretty early bye week, second earliest bye week in the league. I think the earliest bye week is week 5 with the Panthers and maybe like one or two other teams. But yeah, Bengals have the second shortest bye week at week 6. So yeah, moving on to week 7, tough away game, Bengals versus Ravens. Lamar Jackson, there's been a lot of talk. Does he still want to play for the Ravens? He looked a little shaky in some games, but I can't not admit that he is a good quarterback, and they have some good players for sure. Roquan Smith, Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, Derrick Henry, very outprimed, but still putting up great yardage and is still a good running back. This is going to be a really tough game, but I think the Bengals are going to pull out a W here. It's going to be a really tough game, but I think the Bengals have what it takes to beat the Ravens away. They did it on Thanksgiving. They did it for the Thanksgiving game, which was a great game, super satisfying win. And I think the Bengals can pull it off again, bringing them to 4-2. Next week, week 8, we have Bengals versus Titans. There's not much to say here. The Titans. Oh, by the way, sorry for the outdated logo. This is not the Titans logo anymore, but I couldn't really find like a Bengals versus Titans picture with the new one since they haven't really played yet with the new logo. But the Titans are just not a good team. Really bad. Cam Ward's not even a bad quarterback. He put up like 3,000 yards, like 12 touchdowns maybe, and Cam Ward's not even a bad quarterback. It's just when you're put on the Tennessee Titans, everyone's just gonna think you're terrible. But Cam Ward's not even that bad. But he has no one to throw to. Just not a good team. Jeffrey Simmons, I guess, not bad, but it's not amazing either. This is going to be a pretty easy one for the Bengals, bringing them 5-2. Week 9, Bengals versus Falcons. First international game for the Bengals since 2019 when they played the Rams in England, I believe, which they lost, unfortunately. But, it's been 7 years since they last played an international game. It's going to be in Spain, Madrid, Spain. That's going to be such an exciting game to watch. I haven't been a fan for 7 years, so I haven't witnessed them play an international game. but I'm really excited to watch this game. Falcons, Drake London, in my opinion, one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL. He is he's a really good wide receiver, and unfortunately, he has no one to throw to. But I mean, they brought in Tua Tagovailoa. We'll see how that goes. We'll see who will be starting. Um, Michael Penix not looking great either. Looked pretty shaky. Not throwing great passes. Um, yeah, I think this is going to be a win for the Bengals. Falcons, definitely not a great team. Not terrible, but not great either. Week 10, Bengals versus Steelers. A home game against the Steelers. I predicted they would lose the first game, and I think they're just I don't know if they can. I have them going on a 5-game winning streak, which sounds pretty crazy. And I think it's going to end in week 10 against the Steelers. It's a home game. Bengals are 6-2 right now. They're looking really good, but I think the Steelers are going to come out and play a great game. And I think the Bengals are going to lose that game, bringing them to 6-3. So solid so far. Week 11, Bengals versus Commanders. Commanders not doing good this season. Jaden Daniels was injured for a while, bringing in Marcus Mariota, who wasn't great at all. They got good receivers. Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel hasn't been putting up yards like he was in the 49ers, but still a good wide receiver core. You got Terry McLaurin, you got Deebo Samuel. And, honestly, I think the Commanders, if Jaden Daniels is healthy all season, I think the Commanders would be in a better spot. But, Sony Styles, he might have some potential. Yeah, I mean, it's an away game. Commanders, aren't amazing, but they aren't terrible either. I think this is going to be a pretty tight game. I think the Commanders might pull an upset here and beat the Bengals, bringing them to 6-4. Week 12, Bengals versus Saints, home game. The Saints are just not a good team, really. I mean, Chris Olave is really good, but he doesn't have a quarterback to throw to him that well. And, the release of Demario Davis going to the Jets doesn't help either. Just not a great team. Not a lot of star players. Yeah, and the home game for Bengals. They're 6-4. They're doing good. This game will be played over Thanksgiving break, and I actually might go to this game, which I hopefully do. And I think this is going to be a win for the Bengals, bringing them 7-4. Week 13, Bengals versus Browns, the Battle of Ohio, long-time rivalry, an away game, but the Browns. I think the only thing the Bengals have to fear is Myles Garrett. I mean, crazy, 22 and a half sacks or 23 and a half sacks. Got the sack record. Just a crazy player. Single-handedly made the Browns defense good. But besides that, there's not much going for the Browns. I mean, Shedeur Sanders, yeah, I guess he made some good plays, but he's definitely not a great quarterback. Not very consistent. Yeah, I think it's an away game for the Bengals, but I think they're gonna pull out a win here, and they're gonna be 8-4. Week 14, Bengals versus Chiefs. Chiefs did surprisingly bad this season. 6-11, just very shocking for a lot of people. Just on offense, honestly, their defense was doing pretty good, but on offense, they couldn't get much to work. Patrick Mahomes got injured at the end of the season, so he might not play week 1, but yeah, I mean, they traded for Justin Fields, who might start week 1, something like that, but Travis Kelce, Travis Kelce is looking a little shaky. I mean, he's dropping a lot of passes. On defense, though, their defense looked pretty solid. I mean, Chris Jones, Trent McDuffie. I think Trent McDuffie. I might be wrong, but I think Trent McDuffie went to the Rams. It was one of their cornerbacks who went to the Rams. But their defense is okay. On offense, I mean, I think the Chiefs are gonna have a redemption season. I think they're gonna do pretty good. Um, I think the Bengals. This is also a tough game. I think this is gonna be a close game. Bengals have home field advantage. Yeah. I have to think about this one. I think the Chiefs are gonna pull out a dub here. I think it's gonna be a really close game, but I think the Chiefs are gonna win this game, bringing the Bengals to 8-5. Week 15, Bengals versus Panthers. Tough away game. The Panthers have a really, really big stadium, 75,000 people, 75,000 seat capacity. Tough away game. Panthers looking really strong last season. Almost nearly defeating the Rams, who made it to the NFC Championship. Crazy upset, and they actually did manage to beat the Rams in the regular season, with Derek Brown finishing up the game with a fumble recovery, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, no, the Panthers, I would say, are definitely an underrated team. Made it to the playoffs. Nearly beat the Rams. That was an amazing game to watch. Bryce Young is definitely improving as a quarterback. Teteroa McMillan, great duo. Panthers signing Jalen Phillips, great rusher. I mean, he puts up a lot of sacks. He's a great player, and I think Carolina is definitely turning into a really solid team. I think this is also going to be a really close game. By the way, shout out to the per podcast. My friend is a huge Carolina Panthers fan, and yeah, he's a really big Carolina Panthers fan. So go sub to him. And wow, this is gonna be a really close game, I think. Whew. I think. Wow. Wow. I think this might be the closest game of the season. This is a really tough game. I think both teams are very solid. I have faith in my Bengals, but the Panthers are a really solid team. Bengals are away. Week 15 in December. I think the Bengals, non-biased, I think the Bengals are gonna squeak out a win against the Carolina Panthers. I think it's gonna be an incredibly close game, but I think the Bengals have what it takes, and I think they're gonna manage a very tight win against the Panthers, bringing them to 9-5. Week 16, Bengals versus Colts. The Colts, they were the best team in the league, starting off like 8-0 or 8-1. They were looking amazing. And I never really thought of Daniel Jones as a great quarterback, and I still don't think he is. But he tore his Achilles, and then they brought in a retired quarterback to play, and from there on it was just downhill. It's not good at all. It was pretty cool to see him play at quarterback, but I mean, Colts just had a really big fall off. Sauce Gardner, in my opinion, is a bit overrated. He's good, but I think he's definitely a bit overrated. Still a good addition to their team. Michael Pittman Jr., really good. or sorry, Michael Pittman Jr. Steelers. My bad. Um, I'm just blanking out on everything right now, but they have another really good receiver who I remember they overpaid him a crazy amount, but he's still a good receiver. And Alec Pierce. Yeah, they overpaid him, but he's still a good receiver. I think the Bengals can pretty easily beat the Colts though, bringing them to 10-5. Week 17, Bengals versus Ravens. Um, yeah, this is gonna be a really tough game. I had the Bengals beating the Ravens away, and I think it's gonna be vice versa this game. I think the Ravens are gonna want revenge. I think the Ravens, when they're playing good, they can be a very solid team, and I think the Ravens they're just even though they're away, I think they're just gonna play a really good game, and I think they're gonna win, and putting the Bengals at 10-6. Final week 18, Bengals vs Browns, Battle of Ohio Part 2. Like I said, the Browns just not a good team at all. Their only really good player is Myles Garrett. He single-handedly carried the Browns. Um, yeah, home game for Bengals. You know, last season the Bengals and Browns played in Week 18, and the Browns ended up winning in a very close game. But I think it's going to be different this season. I think the Bengals are going to pull out a pretty dominant win against the Browns, putting the Bengals 6-11. Sorry, 11-6. My bad. So there you have it, folks. My final prediction for the Bengals 2026-2027 season is 11-6. Just for regular season, I think the Bengals are gonna have a really good year. They have they have the third easiest schedule of all 32 NFL teams, so that definitely helps. I think they're gonna be really successful this year, assuming that Joe Burrow will be healthy. I just really hope that Joe Burrow doesn't get injured. It's been really hard to watch him, get injured multiple different times. And if I'm being honest, if Joe Burrow wasn't injured and we had a better defense, I think we'd definitely be playoff contenders. But we've made a lot of defensive improvements this season. Signing Boye Mafe, Brian Cook, Dexter Lawrence. A lot of big names. We've signed more players also. And I think we've really reshaped our defense. We drafted a lot of defensive players like Takario Davis in the third round, cornerback. It's just I think it's gonna be a really good season for the Bengals. We've improved our defense a lot. Joe Burrow has showed his satisfaction about fixing up the defense. Joe Burrow is saying that this is the most talented roster he's seen with the Bengals so far, and assuming that Joe Burrow will be healthy in the whole season, I think the Bengals are going to have a really successful season. And 11-6. Hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. Hope you have a great Wednesday, and Hoo Day.